There are hundreds of thousands of freelancers on Upwork, but the vast majority of them don't see much success on the platform. And it's very likely due to these three mistakes. So, if you're a freelancer and you're looking to have more success on Upwork, pay attention closely and make sure you're not making these mistakes.
So let's start with the biggest, the absolute most impactful mistake that I see freelancers make on Upwork, and that is coming to the platform in a mindset of desperation. So, what people need to understand is that high level clients, high quality clients, when they want to hire someone, they can sense desperation from a mile away. So when you're a desperate freelancer, when you're someone that is desperate to win work, it comes through in everything that you do. It comes through in your communication style, it comes through in your proposals, and it just says to the client, "Hey, I'm a desperate freelancer. I'm willing to work for pennies on the dollar, and I'm not actually in demand because I'm so desperate to win work with you." So to the client's eyes, that is someone that they're going to avoid at all costs. So when you come onto Upwork in a mindset of desperation, you usually start applying to as many jobs as you can, regardless of how qualified you are for those jobs, because you think that it's a numbers game. The more jobs I apply to, the higher odds I have of winning at least one job, right? But the fact that it's a numbers game is only partially true. Yes, the more proposals you send out, the higher chances you are of finding that client that wants to work with you. But if your proposals reek of desperation and you're unqualified, it doesn't matter how many proposals you send out, your desperation will be felt by the client and you're not going to win any work at all.
And I've experienced this firsthand being on the hiring side on Upwork. So I've gone on to Upwork a few times to hire contractors, and you can tell almost right away if they are desperate for work or not. And I see this most obviously in the communication. So a freelancer who's just desperate for work, they will say anything basically to get you to start the project. They're like, "Yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I have experience with this. Like, yes, yes, yes. Like, let's get going." There's almost this sense of urgency with them. And then on the other side, I've worked with like top rated freelancers and they're asking me specific questions. They're making sure it's a good fit for them. They're not rushing the sales process. They really want to make sure it's a good fit. But it's very, very obvious to tell who is desperate for work and who is not.
Yeah, you need to realize that when you're a high level freelancer, just because you might not have 10 jobs in the pipeline right now, doesn't mean that you need to just accept whatever work comes your way. Like, you need to make sure that the clients that you're going to work with are a good fit for you, you're a good fit for them. And that should come through in the way that you speak to them, in the way that you come across in your video calls with them. It should be sort of a two-way street, right? You're interviewing them, they're interviewing you. You're screening them for red flags. They should be screening you for red flags. The way that you communicate should be sort of a you're not overly excited to work with them, but you're also not overly disconnected from them. You're interested in working with them. It could be a good fit. And this is sort of like business as usual. That's the vibe I always tell Jessica to take on her calls. Be business as usual. This is just another day in your freelancing life. You have video calls with potential clients all the time. Even if you don't, that's the kind of mindset you should have going into your communication with clients. Do not come across as desperate because it's going to repel high quality clients from you like a magnet. And not like a magnet. So whatever you do, do not come across as desperate for work because it's really going to repel high quality clients from you.
Something else I want to add is this can also be seen on the reverse side of things. So, if you're a freelancer and you notice that a client is being desperate, they're being urgent about certain projects, that's also a red flag for you to stay far away because if a client is desperate to fill a role really fast, they're probably looking for cheaper talent. Let's be honest. They probably don't have their ducks in a row. They're not super organized with the expected deliverables and sometimes it can just be chaos. So that's something as a freelancer is just be very cautious of if you get a sense of desperation and urgency from a client, just be very, very aware of that.
Yeah, I always tell Jessica, like, watch out for those Hail Mary plays that clients make. You don't want to be the Hail Mary from a client. Like, who's in a pickle and they're looking for a Hail Mary solution and you're supposed to be the Hail Mary solution and you're just going to magically make their problems go away. You're going to be the magic solution. Be careful of those clients as well.
This leads perfectly into the second biggest mistake that we see, which is ending up with a nightmare client. So, a lot of freelancers that are desperate, they will take on any project that comes their way and they completely forego the screening process. They completely forget their standards for projects because they're so desperate to take on a client, to take on a new project. And that is a huge pitfall that we see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen really high quality freelancers who come on to Upwork and they come in there and they're just so ready to win work and they finally get a bite on one of the proposals and they don't screen that client. They don't really make sure it's a perfect fit for them. They don't screen them for red flags. They accept that contract, and the second they accept that contract, now the real side of the client comes out, the dark side of the client comes out, and the client has all the leverage once you accept that contract. So if you want to be on Upwork for the long run, you have to be an expert at avoiding bad clients, avoiding low quality clients, which means you need to be selective, which means you can't be just super accepting of anything that comes your way, any offers that comes your way. Start every relationship with clients on Upwork with skepticism, healthy skepticism. You don't need to be a total asshole about this, but you need to be skeptical about what they're telling you. And then you need to be really good at making sure you understand the scope of work. You need to make sure they tell you in writing, here's what we're expecting of you, here's our expectations. And then you need to be really good at knowing what you're capable of and what you're going to be able to deliver on. So if you come on Upwork and you come in with a scarcity mindset and you just accept the first job that comes your way, your odds of getting a low quality, potentially nightmare client are way high. The whole vibe of Upwork is going to shift for you. You might come out jaded, like a lot of these people I see on social media who are just constantly whining about Upwork, whining about how expensive it is, whining about bad clients. Look, everything that happened to you on Upwork was because you decided to accept that contract. If you had a bad experience on Upwork, it's because you were desperate and you weren't selective enough with the clients that you agreed to work with. So, really, you can't blame Upwork about this. You can only blame yourself. So, our second biggest mistake to avoid is not being selective and choosy enough and picky enough with the clients that you agree to work with.
And we've said this once, we will say this a million times. Upwork is a long game. So you might be thinking, well, Jessica, I need a project. I need to make money. I need to pay rent. I need to pay my bills. And to that, I say, Upwork is a long game. Like, you cannot approach Upwork like this make money fast type of platform. It's truly a long game, and you just have to be very, very intentional with each project, with each proposal as you grow your profile. And take it from us, we're two expert vetted freelancers. So we have been on the platform for a long time, and we have been very, very diligent on just making our profiles the best that they can be. And the rewards that we have gotten from taking a slower approach have been incredible. So, Upwork is a long game and you can't rush the process.
And that brings us to our third biggest Upwork mistake that we see, which is the inability to objectively judge your profile and your work compared to other freelancers on the platform. So, something that we always see people complaining about on social media is I am spending all these connects and I'm not getting any traction. No one's opening my proposals. I'm not getting any job invites. But how objectively are they looking at their profile? And why are they missing out on work? It's usually because their profile isn't high enough level yet.
We understand this can be quite difficult to figure out, like, what are you doing wrong? Because you're probably super proud of your work, your portfolio. You're so closely tied to it. You're in it. It's personal to you. This is where you have to take a step back and pull in a family member, pull in a friend, maybe even a coach to just objectively look at your portfolio, look at your proposals, and just provide some very direct feedback on how you can improve it. And you have to be able to do this practice and evolve and test things and figure out what's working, not just as a freelancer, but just having success on Upwork. You have to iterate and get feedback and improve.
Yeah, and you don't even necessarily need to bring other people in to tell you what's wrong or what's right with your profile. You just need to get really good at looking at your competitors and understanding where their strengths are, where their weaknesses are, and doing the same with your work, your profile, your title, your everything on your profile needs to be objectively looked at and improved. I can guarantee you, you can improve something about your portfolio. I guarantee you, you can improve your profile photo. You can improve your profile video. So you need to just be good at going out there, finding the best of the best, and then comparing yourself to them. And if you fall a lot short, you need to get really good at finding ways to go out, create work that is at a higher level, sharpening your skills, finding ways to really elevate every single thing on your profile. Because here's the thing, how are you supposed to elevate your profile if you don't know what needs to be elevated? You don't know where your weakest link is. You need to get really good at objectively looking at yourself and judging yourself. And guess what? We all complain about spending connects to send those proposals to jobs. And not every single one of those that we send a proposal to is a no hire job. They are hiring someone. So that should tell you that the client found someone that matched the quality that they were looking for. They found someone that had a relevant piece of work to what they wanted done. They found someone that just gave them the green light in terms of this is the person that is going to do a great job on my project. So you need to find a way to get yourself in that position. And that could come from finding ways to go out and create new additional work that you can put on your portfolio, or finding ways to do proposals in a way that breaks the mold. You need to get really good at, like Jessica said, taking a step back and really looking over everything about your presence on Upwork.
And then on a tactical level, this is something I still do to this day, is I like to A/B test as much as I can on Upwork. So let's say I send out a batch of 10 different proposals, and obviously they're customized to the job and everything that we recommend in sending out the best quality proposals. But then maybe I send out, those 10 proposals and then I just see what happens. Am I getting a good response rate? Try to pull some stats from it so I can start to analyze it. And then let's say I completely change a direction and maybe I send out a video proposal, my next batch of proposals, and see if, okay, is that going to work better? Am I going to get more traction switching things up? So I try to just take it in batches and A/B test as much as I can so I can just continue to refine my outreach and have more success on Upwork.
So, those are the three biggest mistakes that Jessica and I see freelancers make time and time again who are trying to have success on Upwork. Number one is being desperate. That's going to repel high quality clients away from you. And it could lead to the second mistake, which is not being selective enough and ending up with low quality clients who are probably going to get you burned out on Upwork altogether. And number three is the inability to actually objectively look at your profile and your work to figure out where your weakest links are so that you can actually improve your profile to start winning work. So if you can avoid these three mistakes, you're going to be at a huge advantage compared to your competition, and you will have success on Upwork.
Thank you so much for watching. Now, as a reminder, we are looking for 3 beta testers for our one-on-one high-level Upworker coaching program. If you're looking to have more success on Upwork, you want some personalized guidance from 2 expert vetted freelancers, please send us a direct message if you are interested. And if you would like us to talk about certain topics or make certain videos, please leave a comment and we'll see you in the next one.